if you would do these things, I'm trying to put this. I'm trying to do his show. First off, it's hard enough on my fifis. All right, I used to be bigger than this guy. I was a rising star, and now I'm doing his show. And now
he went by me and then he moonwalked behind me. So
thank you. That makes me feel better, Culture. But now he's going to change the intro video clips on me, and I don't even know what I'm doing, and I can't figure none of this.
Okay, hey, Mr. We Rise Together. Get your shit together and press.
Hello, Tina.
Just relax, Stephen.
Tina, I'm in my fifis. All right, you don't got to come down.
What the heck intro is this? We've never used this one.
You know what? It's just like I don't know. This is where's the boopy doo?
I don't think this is the boopy doo.
I am so led.
Now, why won't even go? It won't even. I hit the button. This don't even look right either.
Jesus.
This one's like 100 million years old.
It says do. Tina, it says do. I was expecting to have the Gooby Doo, and then it's not. I don't even know what's up here.
What branding are you under?
Is there a branding thing? Is there an option? Is that an option?
Yeah, up the top on the branding, it should say the dump.
Oh, it says alien on it. Oh, okay.
No, that's the wrong one. You got to go to
which
the
one
dump.
is it then? Is it video?
See, I said to play a random outro. He's just picking random stuff that could be on some other thing. I love it. Just pick
look,
some
the
other
whole thing
random
changed.
clip.
What the hell?
Hey,
Yeah,
that was great. I loved it.
Third intro could be the charm. So
This is still the wrong one.
It's still the wrong one. All right. Well, then which one is it? Because I'm Sporking.
It should
say the dump.
It should say the dump or something like that. Or
there's a dump there. There is a dump.
There it is.
There we go. Now do the intro.
That'll work.
Oh, okay.
Well, get ready. Get ready to play something else. I'm gonna go. All right, tonight the dump is brought to you by, and you click a video.
Did we go live yet?
No, I got it.
We've been live.
I got it now.
Live?
I think this is it.
Oh yeah, we've been live for like 2.
Doopy doo.
that's too soon.
Now, like, this one's like, see, this seems right. It's like a minute and 51 at home. Why I didn't know there was different settings, Grant.
The doopy doo.
Yeah, thank you. This is not my first time YouTubing, I swear. Why is it so long, though? Why is it so long, though?
Okay,
Words never heard from a woman.
Yeah,
That doesn't make sense.
I wanted to make it long.
Here's your chance, Walt.
There's another one. Yeah.
Why are
Doopy doo.
what is this?
Oh my god, it's a train wreck.
That's Street Smart if it ever comes back on.
Wow. That's new. Yeah. Teeny, you haven't insulted me in like 2 minutes. I'm starting to feel self-conscious.
Mad Barber Entertainment.
It's a life.
You know, I'm actually more entertained by that than I have than everything else. Is the intro over yet?
When you don't have a long intro, you just play 4. Is what you do. That's it.
I guess so. I don't know.
Well, what's nice about the long intro is you don't get busted for saying bad words, like in the first 15 seconds. You know. So.
Really? Well, that's incredible. Thank you guys. Hail the chat. How are you guys
the latest
doing
theory, right?
Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. Matt is unable to make it tonight, but hopefully he will be back next week. All my love to him. Hope he's doing all right. Thank you guys so much for being here. First, I want to say hello to chat, variety, content, entertainment. Yo, man, you need me on Twitter. I would love to have you on my show. I know you're talking about Scott. You really want him? I mean, he does a lot of crying. Once you get to know him, he actually cries a lot and begs a lot. So, I don't know if that's something you want in your show, but I mean, if you like that, tears make great loot. No, make sure to pass that on. Tina already did that. Did you just give me a look, Culture?
I might be more uncomfortable about that statement than Scott would be.
So thank you. No, Rodney, thank you very much. I'm going to pass that on. Keith Howard is in the chat. What is up, Keith? Hi, good to see you. Thank you so much. Keely Chow is in the house, always supporting everybody. Thank you so much for being here, brother. We much appreciate you. We have Culture Boss is in the chat. Hey, all, good to see you, Culture Boss. Thank you so much for joining the chat. Alex Moore is with us. What's going on? Thank you so much for being here. What's up, Soul Assassin? Sean Etep, good to see you. S-Tep, good to see you, brother. Love hanging out with you on Midnight's End stream earlier. That was awesome, man. Good to see you. Thank you very much.
Sean Etep, huh?
I said it wrong. You had to point that out. I tried to correct myself.
You know who Etep is, right?
I know who Etep is.
He's bald. Got glasses.
Is he bald?
Yeah. He kind of follows the same rules that Grant does.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's like kind of a sexy bald, like a Picard kind of thing. Weren't we supposed to get Scott to a certain number of subs, and then he was going to shave his head in the Picard?
His head's already shaved. What do you want him to do?
No. I want the ring around his head, the horseshoe around his head.
Oh, you want the Friar Tuck look?
Yeah.
That's weird, man.
No, well, I mean, it might be a fetish. Culture. How do you know? What are you trying? You fetish blaming right now?
I'm not shaming you, bro. If that's your jam, I feel you.
What's up, Zombie Box Reviews? Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you being. Dude, thank you to everybody in the chat. The Time Prophet. Hey, man, thank you very much for being here. We appreciate all you guys coming here every week. E. Clay Thompson, thank you very much. And if you guys, there's Boosh McFadden. What's up? Good to see you. If you got Boosh, that's a hell of a name right there. If you guys are watching on other platforms, please remember to, if it's your first time visiting, please subscribe to Sporking News Podcast. Please share out links to this show, and please check out all of the other programs on this channel. Scott and Sporking News Podcast is the excellence. It is one of the best channels you will find on YouTube. It has the best panelists on every single show. You will never get any more intellectual, real, funny, inquisitive people that bring you the fire come on this channel. So please make sure to share out links for Sporking News Podcast. Let's get this man up to 5K and beyond, where he belongs. Thank you guys so much for being here. And let's get along to introducing the panel. With me is the hair himself, Culture Casino. What's up, Culture? How you doing, brother?
Hello, fellow kids. Anyway, no, I'm I'm having a great time. I'm glad to be here. I forgot you can really talk a long time.
I'll keep going.
Yeah, honestly. No, I'm glad to be here. It's been a minute. I told Scott I would be popping in more frequently, and we're going to talk about some subjects today that might make other people uncomfortable. Well, not you wonderful humans, but some people who are involved uncomfortable. So that's always fun. Speaking of that, I'm going to leave a nice uncomfortable silence now.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. That doesn't affect me at all. And with us is also our guest tonight. Beautiful person in this community, rising star, someone who's working very hard on his channel, Pops. Please tell this lovely audience where they can find you and what you do.
Oh, rock on, folks. So awesome to be here. At Pops, YouTube made it easy. So it's YouTube at Pops, baby. It's super easy to find. Love movie reviews, TV, comic book stuff, more comic book stuff, movies and comic book stuff. So yeah, I'm like the Uber OG nerd. After meeting Gary, we were joking. My wife, we were talking about how it's like I'm like the flea market Gary, because back in the day I had like the little comic shop back in the 90s where like you go everywhere like flea markets would have cards and comics and stuff like that, and I'm like that guy. So yeah, if you're down with any of that kind of stuff, I might be a channel that might have something that might remotely entertain you for 5 minutes, and I'll take it. So thanks for being throwing out the invite and hanging out. It's awesome.
No, thank you very much for being here. It was a blessing meeting you, and I'm glad that you have time to stop by and hang out. Looking forward to seeing all the great content coming out on your channel, guys. Please support Pops. Send out links, if you would, in the chat for his channel. And let's get this man. We support each other. We rise together around here. So let's get this man some more subs and some more attention. Thank you very much. With us also is the lovely Tina Bojan. What's going on, sweetheart?
Oh, nothing much. It's just, middle of the day week stuff. So happy to be with you guys. It's a lot more exciting than work. And I hear a rumor that I need to share my popular opinion of all of the IP we have out there because I guess I have a new nickname to live up to thanks to Mr. Grant Gregory. I am now Bad Take Bojan.
That's nice. Own it, Tina. That's great. Thank you so much for being here. Do you what other streams do you happen to stop by on?
Oh, thank you for asking. Well, I'm usually with Scott on Monday nights for Aluminum Spork. We are we just finished halfway through Graham Hancock's Ancient Apocalypse series we've been discussing. And then you can also find me on Vinny Art's channel on Friday and Sunday nights.
Beautiful. Hail Vinny Art, guys. Please subscribe to the Fulfillment King himself. The excellence in independent comics out there. Thank you so much, Tina, for being here. Mr. Grant Gregory said he'd be right back. I don't even know what's here. Grant, you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Hi. Well, Grant, tell everybody about yourself and say hi.
No, they don't care.
They really don't act like they do. You got to project.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, everything's going good. It's a new year, and looking forward. I'm on that race to 100K now, and then as soon as I get to 100K, I can be big enough to do something stupid, get on the news, and then get my channel nuked. That's the plan for 2023.
All right. Well, aspirations, brother.
Oh, and now I'm
Lofty
going to do
goals,
a rap
baby,
album or
lofty
something.
goals.
Apparently, it's obligatory once you get that or something. I don't know.
We'll invent a new TikTok dance.
Yeah,
the Gregory.
What's up? Wong said, where's Scott? Scotty we may stop by at some point later. This is the Mad Dump, which is perfectly why Time Prophet said, did you sack Mads? No, I didn't sack Mads. Mads has been unable to be here, and for personal reasons, and we're hoping he comes back real soon. Much love to Mads. He will be back. This is the Mad Dump, and thank you so much for asking. Let's see. You on the YouTube swearing? What's swearing in the first 60 seconds? He said, YouTube rule swearing in the first 60 seconds will get you demonetized. What? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
That's a thing, culture.
That's the new rumor. Yeah, I don't think we know 60 seconds for sure. We know it's soon. It's not. You don't got to stay away from it for a minute or two. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's why you get a nice long intro. Can't say anything wrong.
Okay, all right. See, I thought it was like within the first 5 minutes. Well, not demonetized, but at least go yellow when on a stream.
Man,
I'll get the warning, but yeah, okay. Thank you guys. Appreciate you for being here. Thank you to all the mods out there. If this is your first time visiting the channel, please subscribe. Whatever platform you are on, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching Sporking News Podcast. Please subscribe, share out links. This is one of the best channels on YouTube. So please help promote our brother and keep it moving. What do we want to do? You want to do that thing that Grant sent first? You want to do that first?
Sure, but I have a brief note in it. It's a little bit political, but not really. A brief item I'm sharing, just a brief one.
Okay.
McCarthy vows to work through it after losing his 6th House Speaker vote. So they have adjourned for the day, basically saying no to this man for a whole list of reasons. And the people that don't like him are wanting Jim Jeffries instead.
Jim Jeffries, the comedian?
Jim Jordan, not Jeffries.
Okay.
Jim Jeffries,
because
they can try to get Jim Jeffries, but
it'd be more entertaining, pops.
Here's a really weird, interesting, and crazy thing. You don't actually have to be a House member to be voted Speaker, I don't believe.
I was going to say, why don't they just bring Donald Trump in as Speaker?
They actually could, which would infuriate everybody.
Now, just imagine him as a House Speaker. That'd be great.
Oh my God, Kamala would be keeping her head down, watching for drones and stuff.
Oh man, it's so good.
I mean, as Nick would say,
I'd love to see them bring in they bring in like Michael Malice or someone to like burn the place down with all of his ridiculous commentary and knowledge and stuff. Oh my gosh, something like that. There'd be so much. If anything else, we'd at least be entertained.
Or Alex Jones or Jack Posobiec or
screw it, just get Ye in. See what happens.
Yeah, Kanye.
Oh my gosh, that'd be great.
I thought this would be kind of fun, but it's like people they don't like. I mean, he is not universally liked. He's considered a member of the quote unquote uniparty, at least as many of these people are concerned, and it's not going well for him. Let's just put that there. So yeah, this is not November when it looked like he was set to move forward in this role. So anyway, it was just fun. I thought I'd toss that out there.
No, thank you for tossing that off. We appreciate that, Culture. Thank you so much. I don't know. Do you think Ye could handle the position?
That was a joke, dude. There is no way I would support that dude. Are you kidding? There's no love there.
Mr. Grant Gregory on Twitter. There it is. All right. Before we begin tonight's topics, Grant shared something with me. Let's see if I can load this up a little bit. Was it? Yeah.
Can you? I don't know if you can embiggen it.
I really can't. I tried to. I tried to make it bigger, but it just wouldn't work, no matter how much I played with it. All right. See, Weavegate 2022 by Stephen Walton. I don't remember writing this.
Yeah, you were in a drunken stupor, and okay. you said to me, "It's like I got this idea for that," and you basically did 98% of it, and I just dotted the I's and crossed the T's. So yeah.
I appreciate that, Greg. You're always looking out for me, brother. You're always looking out. It says,
I have a really, really quick question. I am so sorry to interrupt. Do I have the quote correct? I couldn't make it bigger no matter how much I played with it.
That's right.
Yeah, that's cool. What I said. Yeah. Come on.
All right, just want to make sure.
Okay, thanks, Tina. I appreciate you. It was a
fact checking those quotes, baby. Fact checking those quotes.
Sometimes I say, sometimes I say things and people don't take them like I mean them. And it's really you gotta let it go. You gotta let it brush off your shoulder, man. Just you gotta walk past it. Stop playing with it.
You can't hold it back anymore. You gotta let it go.
Mm-hmm, exactly. So it was a dark and stormy night in Phoenix, Arizona, when the police received a tip that someone had been trying to pass off a weave as their own natural hair. The perpetrator was none other than YouTuber Culture Casino, a man in his 50s who had built a following on the internet with his controversial and often outrageous content. The police knew they had to act fast to bring Culture Casino to justice, so they sprang into action. They set up a sting operation using undercover officers and sophisticated surveillance equipment to catch the YouTuber in the act. The operation was a success, and Culture Casino was arrested as he tried to convince a group of unsuspecting fans that his weave was real.
By the way, I wasn't in Phoenix, so I don't know what they're talking about.
Okay, well, these are the facts. This is what Grant's telling me. This is an article, and these are the facts.
That's what Bolton told me. So yeah.
Oh, pardon me. Let's see. Many admired the YouTuber for his bold and unapologetic personality, and couldn't believe that he had been caught trying to deceive them. The police officers involved in the operation were hailed as heroes, with Detective John Smith and Officer Jessica Rodriguez leading the charge. They had worked endlessly to bring Culture Casino to justice, and their efforts had paid off in the end. As Culture Casino sat in his jail cell awaiting his trial, the world watched in fascination as the story unfolded. It was a cautionary tale about the dangers of deception and a reminder that even the most seemingly untouchable internet celebrities are not immune to the law. You're not immune, Culture. Did AI really put all this together?
Yeah, the whole thing.
Are you kidding me?
The prompts that I gave it was YouTuber Culture Casino, and I had something like controversies, fake hair, weave, and yeah, I didn't put up anything about a police sting or anything or arrest. That it just come up with all that stuff.
So what does it just search? Does it search the net and just create that, or does it just take the keywords?
It comes up with the story, and it said, "Do you want it to be like a thriller sort of style, like a different thing?" You can give it prompts along the way, and yeah, it did that, and I just threw it in as it is, unfettered, just to see how it goes.
Wow. Okay. This is kind of scary.
It does repeat itself a little bit, but that's to be expected.
Yeah, I hear that. I mean, that's actually kind of scary that an AI could do this. As the days passed, more and more details emerged about the case against Culture Casino. It was revealed that the YouTuber had been had been wearing a weave for years and had gone to great lengths to keep his secret hidden. He had even hired a team of stylists and makeup artists to make him maintain the illusion of having a full head of natural, luscious locks. It's that luscious, man. Luscious. You know, Mr. Tickle Trunk said you were gorgeous the other day, Culture.
Right, that doesn't surprise me. And thank you.
That. Yeah, he said that. He said he, as a straight man, he said that, which made him question himself. So
no, it's fine. I get that a lot. I mean, people come up. You were in Florida. People come up and they touch my hair. That's not unusual.
I couldn't help it. You know, when we embraced, it was just a few seconds. I know maybe it was a few seconds too long. I apologize, but
but the snipping was a bit weird, Walton, wasn't it? Like,
by the way, I met Pops in person as well, and you know what? He refrained from touching my hair.
I am not touching your hair, my friend. Now, sniffing is, a political party thing, not for me either. But I can't, throw judgment around. But no, we did not.
Pops, are you saying you would not sniff Culture's head? Is that what you're saying?
No offense to Culture. He knows I love him as a brother, but it's a safe space thing with me. And
if you loved him as a president, then you would.
I can neither confirm or deny political party allegiances and the sniffing that goes along with that agenda. I will stick with my widow's peak and just to each their own.
Beautiful.
I'm all about the widow's peak, my friend. All about the widow's peak. Governor Tarkin, baby. That's my rock star right there, Governor Tarkin.
But despite his best efforts, Culture Casino's web of lies had finally come undone. His downfall had been swift and spectacular, and many of his former fans were left feeling betrayed and duped. As the trial approached, Culture Casino's lawyers worked tirelessly to build a defense. They argued that the YouTuber's wearing of a weave was a matter of personal choice, and that he had the right to express himself however he saw fit. He absolutely does. Absolutely does. You put like little hair ties. Do you do anything with it every now and again? Like, do you like ponytail it up?
Listen, it's my body, my choice, right? Culture. I mean, that's what I hear. That's what I hear this article saying.
What I find troubling is you're asking me what I do with my hair. I wash and condition it. I treat it properly.
See, that's already too many steps.
Keep talking. Let's see. Well, I mean, are you jealous, Grant? I mean, what do you do? Do you just like scrub it?
No, I mean, I used to have dreadlocks back in the day, but then apparently I was I shouldn't have done it at a college, put it that way. So I had to get rid of them.
So culturally insensitive, Mr. Grant Gregory. I don't even know. I can live with yourself.
I don't know. Culture. I don't think you've explained enough steps. I don't think that we've heard enough.
There's something very wrong with you, Stephen.
He's kind of obsessed, isn't he? I'm a little concerned. The show's derailed into a hair fetish. I'm like a little concerned.
Anyway, the whole point of this article was how amazing it is that this is an AI that crafted it all, right?
It's beautiful.
And it looks like an actual newspaper bit.
And the fact that it picked up that picture as well was the thing that threw me. It
picked that up. You didn't upload that.
I mean, I'm going to go with that, but I definitely might not have.
You can neither confirm or deny the validity of the photograph.
What I'm wondering is, like, does it search the algorithm? Like, does it go on Google and do some kind of search?
You can actually, there is options with it that you can actually use percentage of web search, or you can get to do what it's got in its own database. And this was just purely and simply from a database. So apparently, according to its database, it thinks that you're from Phoenix. So who knows why?
This is weird.
Yeah, maybe because your hair's like the flame of the phoenix bird, and that's what they thought. So, yeah, like that. Here we go.
So you had to
every time you cut it, it grows back like the phoenix rising from the ashes.
It is. I mean, one of the reasons I donate my hair is because it grows back so damn fast. It's crazy, but yeah, and it's a blessing. But no, it's super fun. Hey, what's up, E-Hacker? Good to see you.
Yeah,
bro.
I donated all my hair, and then it decided to not grow back.
Okay. Well, I feel you, bro. Well, hey, your sacrifice is well worth it. Speaking of which, we actually do have articles to get to.
Yes, we do. E-Hacker, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it, man. Happy New Year, dude. Good to see you. Thank you, guys. Please make sure to subscribe to Pops, our guests this evening. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe to the channel and support Sporking News Podcast. What's up, Tim? Good to see you. Hail, brother. Thank you so much for being here, Fat Elvis. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Let's get on to the first article. This article comes to us from Bounding in the Comics. Guys, please support Bounding in the Comics and all the work they do for us around this indie sphere, have been for years. Please go check out the last Bounding in the Comics last Wednesday. Scott was actually on that channel. Had a great time, him and Spencer. It was a really good show, really fun show.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like when Scott's on with Spencer, we end up with articles based on Scott. I wonder why that happens.
Yeah, that is very true. What he was mentioned in an article recently, wasn't he, Culture?
Yeah, and then everybody carried that article, like Yellow Flash and a bunch of other channels.
Mm-hmm. Did Yellow Flash ever get its name right?
No.
Awesome. It's the best. You've made it when people are either memeing you and getting your name wrong. It's the best. I love it.
Just keeping it going.
You just keep rolling. I've been Brian and Brendan and everything you can possibly imagine that is not my name, and I'm like, I love this. This is the best. This is the best.
Great.
I can't believe people keep forgetting your name, Bill. It's terrible.
It's wild, though. Go ahead.
Oh, as if that was there's only 3 indie films. I agree. I mean, did before we get into this, did any of you see the other indie films?
Of course.
All right, so
you saw 4.
Tina loved them.
Tina loved it.
That is not true. I did not like the.
Are you sure it was very She-Hulk like?
Very true. For once again,
actually, I think that's an insult to She-Hulk.
Well, I mean, my suspension of disbelief. I did appreciate what they were trying to do with the era in which it was set and the whole fanaticism over aliens and Area 51 and that entire culture. So I understood where they were going with it. I do not like Shia LaBeouf as a character, as an actor at all. So that was a big problem. And then other than that, I thought the plot was ridiculous.
That's not very tolerant of you, Tina. Shia's a nice fella.
You're not living up to the brand of bad take. I just be perfectly honest here. That's totally on point. So let me tell you my story. I drugged Mrs. Pops to go see Crystal Skull because I didn't want to go alone. So I'm sitting there and I'm enjoying the very first part of it until the refrigerator. And I remember just sitting there and I'm shaking my head. I'm ready to get up. She grabs my arm and gives me like a little squeeze, which is like stay in your seat. And then at the end, when the X-Files moment happens, I'm literally going, no, X-Files, no. And she squeezes my arm and she leans over and says, we are not leaving. We are not leaving. It's like, you made me come. I'm like, oh, crap. It was. She reminded me of this last weekend while we were on vacation. We were driving around. I said, yeah, this new Indiana Jones movie's coming out. And she looked at me and I said, don't worry. It's okay. I'm fine.
I had the same experience when I took my nan to see Bros.
Oh, jeez.
What? Wait, what? Gregory, what? Did that happen?
No, it was a joke.
Okay.
Yeah, no, she'd already seen it, so there's no point in taking her. So.
I get autistic sometimes.
Crystal Skull was heartbreaking for me.
Yeah, it was.
I was like, 3 was the perfect ending. And they made another one, and I'm thinking, how can you top the perfect ending? And then I went and I found out you cannot. You can't. You destroy everything that came before. It was so bad.
That's called Hollywood progress culture. That's how you do it. You destroy everything else that come before it, put out a mediocre product, and go, see, it's better now.
No,
isn't that the truth? Yeah,
not everything can be as awesome as Loki and Moon Knight and She-Hulk, and
she's killing.
I liked Loki.
You know that she's killing.
You were right about Loki. I liked Loki.
Oh, I can't stand Loki. Oh my god. Oh my god, it hurts. It hurts. Loki was one episode and they broke 20 movies for me. I'm like, 20 movies no longer matter. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with these people?
One scene destroyed the entire universe.
Loki breaks canon. She-Hulk is just dumb dumb beyond dumb. Like those are my two. It's like Kenobi and Boba Fett. We fight over what is worse. Is it canon breaking or just dumb?
Kenobi.
And those are the two.
It's Kenobi. Yeah, Kenobi's worse. Until this next season of Mandalorian, and then pops, then you'll be right. It will definitely be Mandalorian then.
Is Kenobi worth finishing?
No.
What are you talking about? Oh my god!
There is a 2-hour fan edit that someone did where they cut out all the crap. They add their own special effects into it, and it turns it from a 2 out of 10 to a 4 out of 10.
Wow.
So
okay.
Walton, all I have to say is
only 2 hours. And 10 minutes.
Kenobi is trying to sneak Leia out of the hangar by hiding her in his coat. Like you can see her leg. They just have a big bulge in his coat, and he's just walking her out. And then we have this emotional death for a character that's called Wade. That none of us knew anything about. Hashtag RIP Wade.
It's still too soon.
It's still too. Well, I want a shirt, so I want to help me make a shirt. I have a shirt idea in my head. I got to figure out how to get a hashtag RIP Wade shirt. I think we should all have them.
Absolutely. Yes. But not only that, the stupid part about that scene, he's literally the only person on the entire base that has facial hair. Everyone else is clean shaven, and no one recognizes him.
Nope.
Right.
He grabs a random coat. Yeah, and he sticks her inside, and they're just walking along like freaking Muppet Man, sneaking out the hangar. Snow speeders come out of nowhere to save the day until Wade gets a box of junk thrown at him, and he dies. And we're all like, "This show, oh my god, the show hurt so bad. It hurt my brain."
Also, when the female intruder, when she was in there, she got confronted by the big bad boss in there, and it's like, "You've got to come with me. You don't belong here." So she snaps his neck and goes back to work, leaving the body literally a foot and a half behind where everyone can see. Yet no one does. It's great stuff. Oh, there's also a Benny Hill moment where 4 grown adults can't get past leaves.
Yes.
The laser gate is Soul Assassin just brought up. That one is the stupidest thing I have ever even seen in my life.
And they're basically a giant butt plug.
Walk around.
A giant butt plug.
Oh god.
So maybe I shouldn't watch it, is what you're saying.
Oh no, you should watch it now.
Yeah.
Well, I have a theory. Watch Moon Knight. Save Moon Knight for after Kenobi.
He flies now.
You can see how great Moon Knight is. It'll help you get over the.
It'll help me.
Moon Knight had one great episode. Episode 5 was its best episode and only good episode.
Walton, part of my brand is I watch it so you don't have to. So like with anything that's like under the Marvel, DC, Star Wars universe, I just pretty much will just fall on the sword, but I'll try to give you a synopsis pretty much. And it's been a rough couple years.
I was a Moon Knight fan for decades, and then I read the Jeff Lemire run, and I'm like, oh my god, I didn't think I could love Moon Knight more than that. So the series was just perfection for me.
Do you like the Stephen Platt stuff?
Mm-mm. Wasn't a favorite of mine.
I like Stephen Platt's art, man.
Moon Knight, fall in love with. Okay. All right.
It's like Mr. Knight, right? That's Mr. Knight stuff. That's not really Moon Knight stuff.
That's Mr. Knight, yeah.
It's Mr. Knight. I can't stand Mr. Knight. Mr. Knight's basically like a beta version of the real Moon Knight, basically.
But he wears a nice suit, so it's different.
It doesn't matter to me.
See? The
field of reeds. I mean, like there's so many things that they tossed away that actually are consequential in that show in the one season that it's going to get. Because if they make season 2 of that, there will be 8 people watching, and 2 of them will be Tina.
It would be and my husband.
I mean,
2 eyes, so it makes sense.
Okay, then 4 of them will be you and your husband because you're gonna have them on like 2 TVs, so you can make sure you watch.
That's true.
I would like to know that the first article is talking about there being no interest in Indy 5, and we've had it up for 5 minutes, and nobody's even talked about it. That's
when the trailer dropped, it finished me off. The trailer dropped and it finished me off. The DH booking Harrison Ford and
finished off the fan base too, because it is the least viewed trailer of that entire drop. Of that trailer drop from Brazil Comic Con, I think that's what it was.
Yep.
Yeah, and so I mean, in not only that, it is the most dislikes. I was like, oh shit.
Oh my lord.
And I'm thinking, what's going to get hate is this Rise of the Beast Transformers thing. I'm thinking this is going to garner some hate. Nope. Okay.
I don't even. Rise of the Beast has me disappointed. I was kind of looking forward to getting a Beast Wars movie when I first heard it, but no, it sounds like it's going to be.
The point of them turning into the creatures is so they look like the creatures in real life. No one's going to think that's a real ape, so there's no point in turning into it.
Yeah, the visual is dumb. I agree with you, Grant. But yeah, I mean, you know, they just again they can't they it's kind of a hybrid of like the two versions of these films that we've seen, right? Is they're kind of finding their way to the middle on it. But I'm not, like I said, if I'm thinking that's going to get more hate. Nope, it was Indiana Joe. I'm going to call him India Joe at this point.
Yeah.
Scumbag.
India Joe in the Dial of Destiny, reportedly pacing far behind Transformers Rise of the Beast and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and audience interest is from John F. Trent. Guys, please go support John F. Trent Bounty into Comics, and please subscribe to their channel and check out some of the wonderful interviews they have over there. Now coming Indiana Jones, the Dial of Destiny films reportedly pacing far behind Guardians and Transformers. A report from Puck's Matthew Baloney claims that Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny significantly underperformed compared to Transformers Rise of the Beast and Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Guardians of the Galaxy, this is the only one really I think I might be looking forward to. Is anybody looking forward to Volume 3? Guardians has been pretty solid, at least in entertainment value for me.
I hated the second one.
Here's a weird take. I'm gonna watch both Transformers Rise of Beasts and Guardians Volume 3. And I may skip, Dial soap of, laundry. I'm not interested in it.
You're not going to harvest that film for every.
No, man. There are enough people that go, and just absolutely throw themselves on the sword, like Pops and a few others.
Mm-hmm. I get streamers, so it's a little different for an old man that gets a screener. But I'm not paying a nickel to this company. And with the trailer, I'm actually out of the Guardians. Like Guardians was kind of on a must-see list before. And I saw the trailer and I saw Zootopia and whatever that Adam Warlock thing was supposed to be. And I was like, oh, God, it looks terrible to me. I was like, okay, I'm out. Now, they'll send me a screener. So you'll get me to fall on the sword for that reason. But it's not a want to see in theaters list. My want to see in theater list is like 4 movies right now. It's terrible this year.
Yeah, I used to get those.
I don't know why I still do. I don't. After Wakanda, and then they copyright flagged me for like a month. I'm like, why are you sending me stuff you're not allowing me to like even talk about or use or show clips from? And I follow the rules, and they shut it all down. It's a conspiracy theory Loki has since Paramount did it on all of our Halo videos. It's just they don't like it when
Paramount is the worst. They won't even fucking budge.
Oh, Universal's worse. Universal's worse. Universal will flag just everything.
Disney will flag you usually, and you just fight it, and then they'll get rid of it.
I love knocking it. I love knocking them down and adding the line at the bottom. Abuse of copyright claims can lose you your channel. I just add that little line on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they remember.
That's good. I should know that. That's a good point.
Good. Yeah. Soul's House said everyone knows about Lucasfilm handling a Star Wars Willow and won't see the Dial of Dysentery.
That's a good name.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that. Dial of Dysentery.
That's good. Dial of Dysentery is a good name.
According to the studio, source reports that Transformers Rise of the Beast racked up over 506 million views in 2 weeks across YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 drew 187 million views, while Indiana Jones, the Dial of Dysentery, the Dial of I like that. I'm going to take that Soul Assassin. Dysentery only brought in 79 million views. 79 million people clicked off that thing before it was over.
What about Quantumania? It's not listed.
Quantumania? I've never even heard of it. What's Quantumania?
It's Ant-Man 3.
Ant-Man was Quantumania.
Oh, that's why I haven't heard of it. Okay.
It's the one that has Kang.
Kang.
More nonsense. Yeah.
It was Kang all along until it was Loki, and then it was She-Hulk all along.
They should have stopped it and rebooted it, man. Because the MCU's not. I don't think they can recover from Infinity War and Endgame. I don't think they can recover with the material they've been putting out since.
Theoretically, they could use this Kang run through Secret Wars to totally reboot the MCU.
Yeah, but Secret Wars is going to turn into its own completely different thing that has nothing to do with Secret Wars.
Right. That's based on.
Normies don't have them in it.
They're bringing Adam Warlock in 10 years after the Infinity Saga ends.
Yes, so stupid.
So, I mean, I can understand why Adam Warlock is so small. It's like with a souffle. If you overbake it, in the thing, it shrinks and becomes a former version of itself. Maybe that's why the Will Poulter version of Adam Warlock looks so small. So maybe that's the reason why. He was in that
it's Cupcake Warlock.
It looks ridiculous. It does not translate well to film. I just don't think normies have the desire to keep a scorecard, to keep track of all this crap that they keep trying to do. It's why I'm so disappointed with what happened over at WBD. It's like the normies don't need another Batman and Superman to try to keep track of. Like they don't have that much interest like we do to which Superman is this? Which Batman is what happened to Ben Affleck? What happened to they're not invested on this level. It's such a dumb marketing place where everyone is, and Disney Marvel is leading the way to dysentery. I love that dysentery. We use dysentery regularly now to describe all this. That fits.
It does. Absolutely does. I don't know what they offered Harrison Ford to even do this film. I've loved Harrison Ford that as an actor in the films that he's been in, like 80s and 90s. That was one of my go-to actors. Been a part of movies that I've enjoyed my entire life, but
I think there's two things. One, he loves the character, and two, he's so advanced in age, they might have just convinced him he signed a 5-picture deal just days ago.
Damn, Tina.
No, Tina, he's almost always baked. So they could have just told him that when he's been just completely whacked out of his mind. The dude smokes more weed than, yeah, I mean he's a hemp factory.
Is that why he keeps crashing planes?
He's on he's on Mike Tyson's weed at the moment.
It's not really a crash. It's like not quite landing it right.
Yeah, just bumps into other objects when he's landing. So I met him after one of those. Well, I don't say I met him. I stuck my arm in the mob to get a little scribble, and of course he had to have been stoned because it looks more like he wrote Henry Jones than it does Harrison Ford. It's great. So it's a horrible autograph. It's absolutely the best. I love it.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, he is. So I'm not kidding, dude. He's like, yeah, he's a power plant unto himself. He burns so much weed. He could,
Wow.
He's had, go F yourself money for 40 years. He doesn't care about us or anything, man. He's just he does his own thing.
Yeah. If I was married to Quista Flockhart, I'd be getting baked all the time.
Yeah.
She needs a sandwich still. Good Lord.
Yeah, she needs a buffet. They got to have freaking buffets in Wyoming or something.
Maybe she should get stoned and get the munchies.
Evidently, it works the other way around with her. Yeah, I could care less about seeing this now. Like, I know I will just because I'll get, but I'm not. James Mangold is the only thing that could remotely, and he's become such a douchey, awful person. It's like, I'm not part of it. That's frustrating.
Yeah. And that's the disappointing part, right? Is that he's made some good films, and then he comes off as such a douche. That's bad. Yeah, it's the same reason why we don't have movie stars or television stars or any of these people anymore, because they open their fucking mouth.
Social media. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
No, it's it. Go ahead. We're agreeing. I know it. It's just Twitter, social media is general. Really, Twitter has just pulled the curtain back on what awful humans they are. It's just so much easier to see, and they just can't help themselves. They just can't help themselves.
Yeah, and it's not like that. At the echo chamber that's created there, you can see it, how much they reinforce one another, how certain ideas reinforce one another, and they're bad ideas. And you're trying to market yourself as a product or as a commodity. You don't want to market yourself as an awful product.
Steven. Mr. Tickle Drunk is suggesting you pin the Stream Elements link to the top of the chat. Do you know how to do that?
No, I'm still learning.
Okay, well, what you do is you write a message about the Stream Elements link, for his tip jar, right?
Right. Thank you. Okay,
you put that, and then you put it in the chat. And then you click on the 3 dots next to the chat.
I got that. Yeah, I got you. All right. Yeah. So take over the conversation for a minute while I work that out. Thank you.
I just did.
But I can't do it while I'm instructed. I can't. I can't do more than one thing at once. You know how
Culture has 5 things going on at once, even while
Oh,
he's
I
here
can't
talking
remember.
with us right now. There's probably 3 other monitors on, and plus there's some sort of like every time he goes off
masturbating.
camera, there's some sort of hair conditioning or spray or something happening. He's getting his hats off camera. There's things happening, like 6 different levels of Casino's world. And poor Steve is over there going, 3 dots. I need 10 minutes. Just get back to me. You guys vamp for a minute. I need a few minutes.
Yes, you
Take over,
understand.
Tina. Take over, Tina.
But it's that weird thing. It's that weird thing that it really made it so we no longer hold these people in high regard because they expose themselves for what they are. And look, do you realize the people who still have that level of cachet? I'm going to use that word, or largesse, or gravitas. They don't say shit on social media other than promote their stuff. Right? Well done, Steven.
It's pinned.
Yeah, and that is
Thank you.
And that is Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is the personification of shut up. He learned that. That was a valuable lesson to learn after the stomping on the couch on Oprah.
Winfrey.
Right? Just shut up.
Did he
Shut up.
learn it, or was he programmed for that?
Well,
yeah, he might have been Clockwork Orange.
Xenu works in mysterious ways.
All I know is for a
Exactly.
guy his age, I'm like, there's got to be something to that wackadoodle do stuff, because I'm like, dang, he looks young and stuff. I don't know.
I can't forgive him for the postpartum negativity he gave.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
But everybody's talking about the thank you message before Top Gun Maverick. And then, of course, the different tweets and videos he's done since then.
Yeah.
Awards. Thank you so much. All we want to do is make good stuff for you, blah, blah, blah. This is why Mission Impossible has now become one of the key movies that people are looking for next year, because you're a likable product. You didn't alienate half of your market share. Like, half these people are just such more. You want half your customers to no longer like. So, for instance, here I am, Mr. Milquetoast comic book reader. Dan Slott has banned me like almost a year ago just because I liked all these other people also. And I'm like, screw you, Dan Slott. I'll never buy a comic book about you at all until you can resolve this issue with. I've never done anything. Look, I'm so generic. I have this PG-13 channel talking about comic books, and you blocked me. You have a problem, my friend.
I don't have a channel, and I loved She-Hulk, and I still got blocked.
Do you follow Yellow Flash?
Oh, geez.
I don't think that I do.
Do
But
you follow Andre?
yes.
Okay, there you go.
That's why. Yep, you're adjacent.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Well, going back to Pop's point about like with the Mission Impossible thing, how often is it that you see the 8th film in the franchise being the most hyped one? Like, that never happens. Like, that it's ridiculous. There were so many people, more people are going to be going seeing these than most likely any of the other films.
Yeah, I was on a stream last night with Comic Relief Crusader, and so many people that were with us had not even seen the last 4 movies. Like they didn't know that we were on like number 7. And I'm like, well, Brad Bird started it, and then they passed it to Christopher McQuarrie, and those movies got really, really good. So it's not as though it's just Tom Cruise and Maverick draw. The last 3 or 4 movies, Ghost Protocol,
really
Rogue Nation, Fallout.
Yeah.
They're great.
Yeah,
They're good
Cavill
films.
was really, really good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's true. I like that, Pops. It's a good take. And Mr. Tickle Trunk's in the chat, and you're right, my friend. It's not half the audience, it's 75% or more of the audience. Yeah.
Very good
exactly.
Point.
Yeah. I mean, and I know that a lot of people, it's really easy to do that because a lot of people make political assumptions, including me, that we're that divided evenly, but we're not. It's more substantial, the audience that rejects this garbage. You're 100% right.
Marby Dog says that if you love She-Hulk, you may be having a stroke. Damn, Tina.
Tina, I will always defend you. I won't defend what you like, but I will always defend you.
And I appreciate that.
I heard Tina say she liked it. I didn't say she loved it. There is a massive difference with our words there. I can like something.
She loved Loki.
Okay,
that's true.
Oh, my eye just twitched. Oh,
yeah, it's really rough for me. I have this ability. I call it my suspension of disbelief. There's for a few things that I'll go, okay, I gotta take that, unpack it, put it in the drawer and not look at it for a while because these are the 5 or 6 problems that are wrong with it, and then go ahead and
That was just the
watch a show.
intro, Tina.
Let me ask a question. Let me ask a question though. So a film is only supposed to ask the audience one big ask.
Do you believe?
Loki had how many big asks?
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
that black chick,
I
she had a
didn't see
really
big
big,
asses.
big ask. Sorry,
Ask,
never mind.
ASK, ask.
Sorry.
That's the problem, right? Is that all of these films,
Yes.
because you have undeveloped or underdeveloped writing, because you have a lot of people that are contributing to these stories and have a lot of these jobs in these writers' rooms that have no experience, right?
Correct.
You know, and because of that lack of merit, this is what you get. They've never been in a writing room with somebody like Script Doctor. You know, they haven't actually sat in a room with a guy that's written a comic book, unless it's maybe Dan Slott, who, you know, despite, you know, being a guy that has great big ideas, he can't land the plane and he can't complete on his big ideas, but he does have good big ideas. That's the problem. You need somebody who can.
He's like John Denver then.
Right. But you have to have somebody that does it. And that's the problem. Loki asked you too many things, even from the very first episode. And by the time we get to the Infinity Stones or paperweights, I'm out.
Yeah.
That was only like 30 minutes in.
I know. And then I was done.
They stripped him completely. They strip him naked and emasculate him within the first few minutes. Like, and then they want to pretend that he's a crybaby, and he was the guy who was ripping a guy's eye out like 5 minutes ago when they attacked New York. But we're not supposed to put 2 and 2 together. It was just
no.
they
He saw a
don't
really
care.
moving PowerPoint presentation.
I
So
it made me very emotional as well for a completely different reason.
Scene. That was a very emotional scene.
I was so angry. I was
Yes.
so angry.
My whole
it's
point
basically this is the time where you died, but not really, and then you came back, and then this is the time that you died, and then
But
came
no.
back, but not really. But then also this is the time that you died and came back, but not really. Like it's just
it's really, really annoying, and it speaks to a larger issue, right? It speaks to the fact that we're no longer having entertainment. We're having something else different, and it's not entertainment any longer. It's repurposed product for the point of education, and it's not even education. It's re-education. It's propaganda.
Yeah.
Well, that makes a whole lot of sense. I mean, that's how I look at She-Hulk. I mean, I can appreciate She-Hulk being a female, you know, mainframe programmer in the early 1990s when I was the only woman in the room. And now, do I believe that's what corporate America is like now? Absolutely not.
No.
However, I could relate to the show, and I know that I was part of the target audience. Why the MCU decided they want, you know, 40 and 50-year-old women who haven't read comic books in 30 years and create a series for them.
Right.
Probably not the smartest idea. The same thing with Ms. Marvel. As I thought it was really cute. My 12-year-old niece loved it. She was the audience, not.
Oh, can I ask a question? Since you're the right demographic, I think you're what, in your 30s now?
Me, I turn 52 next month.
Oh, I wasn't asking. I was trying to be nice. I was being like complimentary. No, but my point is, women have moved on from soap operas, daytime soaps, mainly because most of their asses are in the workforce now. So, you know, the housewives are, you know, you're not allowed to be a housewife now, or you get, you know, looked down on or shamed. But so soap operas are dying. And so now they're making evening soap operas on this streaming platform called MCU television on Disney Plus. Yeah, it's garbage. And I mean, that's not, you know, men like a certain kind of soap opera. That's not it. It's not it.
The thing about Miss Marvel, really, to be honest, as far as, I mean, Guardians is probably the better of the products that they've done the last couple of years, but Miss Marvel was sadly one of the better things they did. It just happened to be for little girls, particularly little girls who have, you know, an Islamic belief system and can appreciate Indian culture and some different things. And I'm like, well, how narrow do you want the box of audience to get for this? Like, it got very strange for me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's myopic, right? I mean, you're shooting. It's so narrow.
Yeah,
I mean, but that's the way these people think. It's like, I need to have this box and this box and this box and this box and this box, and you're stacking boxes. And by the time you get all the boxes stacked, Who are you appealing to? It's the question we ask all the time. I know you ask it, Pops. I know Tina asks it. I know
Who is this
Grant
for?
asks it. I know Steven asks it. Who's this for?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who's this for? You know,
Sana Amanat was who Miss Marvel was for. We all know. Jessica Gao was who She-Hulk was for. We got it. So,
And I think though the big mistake Disney is making with the MCU is, or whether you just go straight to Kevin Feige, is that he's expecting the large audience to consume all of this content that was not made for them. I hate to use that term. And then they're upset. Well, why aren't you coming to our movies? Why aren't you enjoying the plot line? Well, that's because I didn't watch 5 or 6 shows because they weren't made for me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and you get insulted along the way, so you're told it's not for you, right? I was told not to watch She-Hulk. It wasn't for me. And when I hated on it, I'm told I'm a sexist, bigoted, something phobes. And then when I call out the finale and the absurdity of how the finale went down, then I'm really attacked. And it's like, okay, I don't understand what you want from me. Like, I don't know what you want from me.
Being shamed with negative reinforcement, Pops. You're a terrible person. It's not meant for you, but you're terrible if you don't support this representation.
Yeah.
It's the evil testosterone.
But understand, the boss just came in here, made sure that I was muted so she could say, I asked that question every single episode you made me watch of She-Hulk. Who is this show for?
Right.
And mind you, boss is similar to my age. I won't tell you exactly how old. And she, is a very intelligent woman. She's well educated. And she's like, who is this show for? Because, this is supposed to be a female attorney, right? That's supposed to be top in her field, I guess, somehow, maybe. And, she's always, losing out to men. None of those experiences happen in the professional world. That's all a fabrication. It's this thing that they throw at you in a university, at a university level, saying you are downtrodden, you are going to be paid less than men, you are oppressed. Well, that's nothing she's ever experienced as an educated person. So, I mean, are we training kids to expect to be oppressed? Yes, that's what's happening. And then you reinforce it with shows like this, which is why when you call stuff out, Pops, I mean, you're fighting the education system. You're not just fighting for truth. You're fighting the indoctrination cycle.
And that's why I'm trying to find a healthy balance of trying to promote some good things as well. Try to kind of add a little concept here and there to kind of promote some of the positives. And it's not because they haven't existed. It's just harder to find them, particularly because these 2 or 3 big corporations are sucking all the air out of the room. They're the ones that everyone's getting hate views on with YouTube and things like that. So then a movie, I literally just watched The Menu and was blown away at how good this movie was. I was like, holy crap, this is a good film. And it just didn't, it seemed like it was like this foodie, artsy drama kind of film. And then I'm like, someone said they loved it. It's their second best movie of the year or whatever. And I looked and it's like, suspense, horror, dark. I'm like, what on earth? And I watch it. I thought this movie was fun. It was great. I had such a good time. Mrs. Pops is going to watch it, which just says a lot. Mrs. Pops hates everything. Mrs. Pops hates way more than I hate. And she's going to give it a chance.
I hadn't even heard of it, Pops. I mean,
it just falls out. They don't.
I'm back. What are we talking about?
The Menu.
Which show?
The Menu, the movie.
Oh, The Menu. Yeah, I've heard a lot of positive things about that.
Yeah,
Is that
loved
the one
it.
with Ralph Fiennes?
So,
Ralph Fiennes knocks it out of the park. He will get an Oscar nod. I pretty much think. I don't think he'll win, but he'll get an Oscar nod. And then I think Anya Taylor-Joy deserves a lot of credit for her performance as well. It's just different. It's a lot of great dialogue, but it's also like quirky and Coen Brothers-esque in some ways, and little of this, little. I loved it. I thought it was great, and it can't get any legs.
That was the one that Leguizamo was complaining he didn't get paid enough on.
Oh, well, he plays a scumbag in the movie, so he lived up to that. But he's had a good year. What did he want? He did Violent Night. That was a fun movie as well. Come on, dude, quit complaining. Yeah, you got 2 big movies that I liked.
He should have been the Mario.
Well, to be fair, I mean, there were only like 60 movies in the theaters. I mean, anything with any kind of studio support, everything else was A24 and below. I mean, you did get over 100 films, but they weren't good. Yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping we get better dialogue in everything because we haven't had it in a very long time. I mean, the personification of bad dialogue was the Rings of Power,
Yes.
and if again we get back to the generic fantasy show because we're about to talk about Witcher. I'm trying to segue. And generic fantasy show has people talking like they do in our modern world. Well, that's not the way dialogue works, kids, in these fantasy shows in particular. So, there you are.
There you go.
Which I
done,
feel
sir.
very betrayed that Scott is not here, because in his video he refers to Liam as Lime and he calls it Witcher the Blood Orange, and I laughed myself because there was a fine line in knowing what he was doing on purpose and what he was not. And if you have not seen his videos, please go watch it because it made me laugh. I don't know about anyone else, but that's just me.
Pops, I was talking on the phone with him last night, and he said blood orange. He just naturally came out.
Can't even stop saying it now, which makes it even better for me now. So
yeah, man, The Witcher blood orange.
We were talking on the phone a couple days ago, and he can't help himself now, because once he starts doing that, he's locked in.
We got that way with Halo because we gave all the characters nicknames to make Halo tolerable. So then I don't even know what the real characters' names are. It's Strawberry Spartan and Miss Mullet and Seaweed Burrito and Not John. They all have made up names, and I don't know what their real names are in some cases, to be perfectly honest, because the show was so bad. It was the same thing for me. So.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Tina.
I watched all of Blood Origin, and I don't think I could tell you a single character's name.
You have to watch subtitles to know most of the time. I've said this. I've taught people. I said at work and stuff like that. Listen, you have to watch subtitles. You won't know who they are. And man, I got attacked for the Andor thing when there's an episode in Andor when like 5 people die. I said, "What's their names?" And no one knows because they didn't have subtitles on. Nobody knows. Dialogue is such garbage.
This is how little these shows mean, or how little. See, what's culturally impactful. Because the only measurement for that is your memory. Did it get into the zeitgeist? Is it something that you and I can communicate on around the water cooler? Can we talk about the character that we lost, right?
Yeah.
In Breaking Bad, when Gus Fring gets exploded, right? That everybody knows.
Yeah. Well, I can go Red Wedding. Red Wedding on Game of Thrones. I hadn't watched Game of Thrones in real time. I binged it during the pandemic. But I had heard of Red Wedding. I knew pieces of it. And then even when I went through it in real time and watched it for myself, I was still blown away. That is cultural zeitgeist stuff that can't be. It's incredible. It's incredible.
It's memorable. It makes an imprint. You remember the names. You remember the things that happened there. And even years separated from it now, right? Because we are years separated from that particular episode.
Yes.
And yet you get to Blood Orange. I don't know.
Well, you've
I can't even tell you what the name and mind you, I've played the games and I've read some of the literature, but I have not. I haven't committed the lore to memory. But one of the most impactful events happens in this show, and it doesn't mean anything. Go ahead.
I think they just mentioned conjunction of spheres to go with the image that was on the screen, and that was it.
Yeah, that was it. This is the most impactful event, which is why all this stuff starts happening in this world. It's the creation of the very first Witcher.
Mm-hmm. And what did it mean? And that's because you have had people that are more concerned with a message than content. And poor Henry Cavill, who actually enjoyed this mythos and was ousted and was talked trash on his way out the door because he lost interest in being passionate about this project. When the messaging began to mean more than storytelling, that's when Hollywood. That's when we lost it all. Really,
they lost the plot, Stephen. They did. They lost. They didn't just lose the audience. They lost the plot.
Yeah,
and that's the problem. They can't get back there. It's a virus, right? I mean, anybody who's been touched by this mind virus, the way that these writers and producers and directors and these creatives have, they're permanently poisoned. They seem incapable of doing good things after that. That's weird. There are very few exceptions to it.
There are, absolutely. I mean, I do think that there are some capable writers in the industry at the moment. But even those capable writers have been stifled by the need from the echo chamber to press messaging over content. And it's suffocating audiences. Now we've gotten to the point, culture. I mean, Pops, Grant, Tina, we've all been watching this for years unfold now. It's gotten to the point where normies are completely disconnected. Like the content has gotten so bad, the message has been regurgitated so many times. Normies don't even care.
I'm gonna say this, and then I don't know how anybody else will react, but I describe it as audience apathy, and I think they reached that point. You created an apathetic response from me pretty early on, but the normies that Pop likes to talk about, the normal, ordinary, everyday folks, the ones that don't have a lot of touchstones in these individual properties, they're apathetic. I mean, and that's the worst thing, that you can have in a fan. You went from fandom to I don't care.
Yeah, because the normies represent the difference between like okay and then greatness. And if you that's the gap is if you get the normies, and they had to they were forced to release 3 episodes of Andor because when they watched it, they realized nothing happened for 2 episodes. It was just a whole lot of walking around. And the normies that even watched up to episode 3, I can't tell you how many people were like, I just checked out and I watched your video. I got so many messages like, thanks for just doing basically these detailed conversations and suffering so I don't have to, because they were just like, I kind of want to know what's going on in case there's just something accidentally that might be important because I'm a Star Wars fan, but I'll just wait for Mando season 3. That was literally the consensus with the normies. Yeah. Total apathy.
Yeah. Without that drive, you're not going to get, but you're not going to get the films that explode. You're not going to get, anything profitable. They were finally getting to that point where I think that that realization is setting in. But are we going to see any difference in the attitude toward what they're creating as they lose money, or do you think that the money doesn't matter?
I was asked this question today, Stephen, and I'm going to answer, and then I think everybody on the panel should be forced to answer. I think that we're going to have. No, I'm serious.
No, you're right. We should.
I think we have half. I think we have half of an industry that's going to be made up of independents that are going to gain ground, much like this idea of this parallel economy that's unfortunately tied to political divide. But I think there's an entertainment divide as well, and I think that as properties get stronger in the independent sphere, and we have non-politically aligned, what do you call it? Politically agnostic independence. I think that is going to spur a lot of this industry over the next decade. I think you will see a cultural shift from Hollywood, who's now locked into all of this stuff and all of these entities and all of these unions and everything else that essentially is just feeding a machine, much like the political machine. I think when you get away from that to an independent location and an independent industry, you can tell all those people to, pound sand. Sorry, I'm going to hire this guy because he's a good cameraman. If he wants to pay his union dues, that's fine, but I'm not going to listen to anything you have to say. And again, it's not that I'm anti-union. I'm just anti-corruption. And right now, I'm looking at this industry and I'm like, you do not need multiple grips. You need a key grip. Unless this is the biggest epic like Ben-Hur, you do not need that many electricians on this gig. It's ridiculous. And that's what makes budgets explode. It what makes the independents almost too expensive to make sometimes. So that's what I'm saying. I think you're going to see an expansion of that independent movement, and you're going to see it dominate and take over. But anyway, that's me going off on that. I don't know. What do you think, Pops? You think that's the direction it's going to go, or do you think Hollywood's going to magically recover?
Well, I had more hope until the Henry Cavill thing. And I know that sounds almost like a hyperbole, but I thought WBD and Zaslav was money first. It's a big enough company that would get the industry's attention as he was making radical moves. But then suddenly James Gun's head and these few successes he's had, it's been like all chips to him and these radical moves. And that's just not going to be. My response was shock. And how would they possibly bankroll 10 years of films? So I'm actually less optimistic than I was if you had asked me, let's say in October or earlier. Money does matter. I know somebody said that in chat, and I do get that. But until heads roll, I don't want to tell you, heads got to roll. I think, Blumhouse, I think, will continue to find ways to make money. They know the right way to balance budget with box office. There's a few of those type groups that are doing that. But Disney Marvel, this whole Star Wars, this whole machinery is going to be the last one. It's Titanic, man. It's going to.
It is.
It's totally not going to change anytime soon. It's a mess, absolute mess.
I agree. Grant, Tina.
My only question because I do believe with everything that Culture said about the shift to individual productions. But my question is are the brick and mortar theaters going to survive that shift?
If the answer to that's actually simpler than you think. We had a really weird period in Hollywood in the 30s and 40s. And even a little bit in the 50s, where you had a lot of independent productions that didn't have wide distribution. They had regional distribution. The concept of wide distribution didn't come about until like the way it is now, like the 60s, I think. You'd have to ask Tom specifically, but I think I'm right. But back then you could regionally distribute, and those distributors, they were like Fred and Barney. I mean, they were like the dude down the street. They were like small. And so like you would have them, they would market their film to an exhibitor, and the exhibitor would say, oh yeah, I'll pick that up. You're going to have to do it in a bigger way. But at the same time, I mean, and you can give them a better deal. That's the other thing. I mean, you're not like a studio asking for, a bigger portion of the gate, right? I'll take my half, right? You're not going to argue for 75% and you have to run it in your biggest theater for 3 weeks. Those aren't going to be the conditions of that contract for distribution, right? Those independent distributors are going to go out there and kind of roll these out in a different way. So I think that's one of the ways that it's going to happen. And I think you're going to see a lot of independent content coming from this sphere, believe it or not. You're going to have people that are going to like partner up. You're going to have like we live in the puppet sphere, right? We have two groups that are essentially one group of Cotton Connection folks. You got Florals, PG and PG content, and you have Snowdubs, so not PG content. In fact, I think Floral Show is like, going to pick up here real quick. So, and then of course you got the midweek Humble Run. I can promote everybody else's stuff later, but my whole point is, I think you're going to see them actually develop a television show. Somebody's going to grab that. Somebody's going to grab Floral and they're going to run with it. Somebody's going to grab Snowdub and his adult entertainment and run with it. We don't have those kinds of shows anymore. And those things make money. They're creative. You have a group of guys sitting in a room coming up with some bits. They put it on a puppet show, and it's freaking hysterically funny, right? And half of it's ad lib. And then you have completely scripted stuff like what Floral does with his like stuff, or what Punkwaddle will do on his ponderances. And those are gold, man. That's like putting on Saturday Night Live with puppets, and that's going to infiltrate streaming. So you're going to see that happen too. So, like I said, I see that happening. The problem is we've already poisoned this well with some of the content creators that went to Hollywood. The Sing chick, she ruined it. She just ruined shit because she was terrible. And instead of taking her and her ideas and putting it out there, they've made her a talk show host. Well, just take some of her ideas and make a variety show, because that's the next step. We have to go backwards to go forwards. We need variety. That's, I guess, what I'm trying to say with the puppet shows. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking, but I think that's the natural progression there, if that's the question. So, yeah.
That makes sense.
I think that going back to what you were saying about the theaters and the way some of that will evolve is, I could definitely see a place. Like, I would love to own a theater if I was able to actually get licensing for older movies. So as these companies start to become more financially strapped and the streaming services start to really tax their bottom line, it hopefully can become more economical to get licensing to show the 40th anniversary stuff that's not just a Fathom event. I can do it on my own. So I don't have to run only all this new stuff that I don't want. I can fill up these theaters. I can fill up these auditoriums with people who want to see good stuff on a wider scale. And I think there is a place that we'll see over the next 5 years where some of these theaters will survive with more of a diverse model than what we're used to seeing. You know what I mean? Yeah. I know here locally, we have a lot of those theaters that are doing church services now on Sunday mornings. You're starting to see more marketing towards businesses and things like that. They got to make their money. And I think that we'll start to see that out of some of those theater chains is some of that kind of stuff will evolve as well.
Can I ask, do you see, because this is you and me, you and I would go do this, but I would go watch a Three Stooges marathon in the theater. just to
Sure.
sit there and watch them original.
Oh yeah, dude.
There was a recoloring of 3 or 5 I Love Lucy episodes that my wife and I were invited to go
Oh,
to. And the
wow.
place was jammed packed full of people.
Yeah.
Talk about a cash cow of Lucy fans. People dressed up. I mean, it was a party. It was incredible. So there is tons of opportunity if you can just pick and choose your battles, have people who are really interested to consult with. Like, I think the concept of James Gunn partnering with a business person is the right combination. I'm just not convinced of James Gunn handling the big 3. If he left the big 3 in place, I'd feel better. So the model I thought that was like steering the ship in the right direction has gotten disrupted. So I'm not quite sure what to expect on a big corporate scale. I think right now, the other thing I'm watching is what happens with some of the streaming services. They just can't financially keep doing this. They just can't keep throwing money into the incinerator, and someone needs to buy somebody. Somebody needs to figure out how to make some better decisions. I don't know. I don't know. You know, Culture, you break down numbers all the time and stuff like that. I don't want to keep rambling too, because we didn't let Grant speak on this as well about what he thinks the shoe will drop financially. But yeah, no, they're burning. They've been burning money up, and it's not their money, and now it is their money. Like as it's of last run out. Yeah, and Disney's boned. I've been saying this for a while. They are financially hosed, and I don't care the fact that they led the box office with their 16 theatrical, films and $4.9 billion. Don't care about it because that didn't pay the bills this year at all. In fact, they are underwater in their theatrical releases because of advertisement and everything else. If it weren't for Avatar, their next quarterly would be another bloodbath. Sorry. Their animation has become an embarrassment. Embarrassment. I mean, this is insane how bad I couldn't get my finger on. I know the Chicken Little era was a bad era, even though I actually like Chicken Little, but this was like Brother Bear bad. This is back in that era where they fired everybody. We're getting to that point where they're going to have to make some radical moves, or it will just, I don't know what they're going to do. Like, it's just insane.
You remember when they were pushing the forefront on animation? 15 years ago, 20 years ago. We don't see that kind of dedication to pushing those limits. Like
Lasseter's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Lasseter's gone. Lasseter's gone, so it's over.
Pete Docter's a nice enough kid, right? He's a nice fella.
Guy. He is a nice guy, actually.
But he is not a leader. And you put him in charge of the most important studio that you have, Pixar. Believe it or not, that is one of the key elements for Disney. That's why they went and bought it. They bought the rest of it from Apple, right? Yep. By the way, Pixar was offered to Disney before it was offered to Apple. That's a joke and a half that's how that went down. But again, they didn't do the deal with Lucas back then.
Lucasfilm, yeah. But
we'll step back and we'll say Walt Disney Animation is a dumpster fire. You put what is her name? She's terrible. Crap. Jill. I'm going to say Jill. No. Anyway, they put a lady in there that has no business, and you're about to see her efforts in Elemental. You're about to see the combined efforts of the two studios in this Elemental film that is going to make you want to, I don't know, find a building to jump off of, because it is not going to be a super wonderful experience for you. And again, they involved another guy who doesn't really have a great claim to fame. I'm looking at these animation properties now and going, where you are directionless, you have no guidance. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Tina.
I was silly enough to believe that Inside Out was a return to decent Disney animation from the Toy Story and Cars days. And then everything else that came out before and after that has been a disappointment.
Are you thinking of Jennifer Lee Culture?
Yes, Jennifer Lee. Yes, I knew it was a J name. I could, and that's why
she got the job because of Frozen, right? She got that Frozen. She had success with Frozen. They just basically handed her keys to everything, and it's been a complete debacle ever since.
And Pete, like I said, Pete's a nice guy, and he's got great
ideas. He's a creator,
ideas.
though. He's a creator. He's not. Yeah.
He's not a big picture guy. Lasseter saw on the biggest scale I've ever seen, outside of maybe Steve Jobs and a couple other guys that are true visionaries. That dude saw in 3 dimensions from a wide view. And there are not people that can do that. And he could do that on multiple projects at the same time and keep them all straight and be like, we are throwing that away. We went the wrong direction for a long time. And I don't care how many hours it costs us. That's gone because it doesn't work and it looks dumb and it sounds stupid. So it's out of here, and that's what Laster does, right? That's why, yeah, good for Skydance for grabbing that dude. Anyway, it is what it is. Oh, we got a super thingy, or what are these called?
Yeah, it is. Tip.
Yeah, let me turn the mute off. Thank you very much, Mr. Tickle Trunk, for tipped $5. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, guys. We really appreciate you guys coming back every week for every one of Scott's shows. Please remember to share the link out, smash the like, no matter what platform you're on. If it's your first time here, please consider subscribing and supporting Sporking News Podcast, all the wonderful content, the shows, and the panelists that he has on every week. You won't find anything but the best of the best. And Mr. Tickle Trunk says, thank you, Mr. Grant Gregory. I'm still trying to figure out how to do that. The issue with indie movies and shows is that discovery is lacking. How do you find the good stuff? I'd love to see Steam game distribution app for shows and movies is going to make gangbusters money and blow this wide open if they can get some traction.
No, he's right. The first company that can figure that out is going to be the company. In fact, they may even be the distributor that we're talking about. They may even be the new Buena Vista distribution. They may be the new RKO. They may be the new distributor that we're all looking for independent.
It may be Netflix.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. I mean, we need a Netflix for the independent movement. That's what we need. It shouldn't be that hard to put together. And actually, I feel like with OTT, like you can put your own channel on like Roku and other things like that. I've been trying to figure out how to do that without jumping through 7 hoops to make it happen. But if with OTT, you can actually direct to consumer your stuff. It's just not wide enough. And discovery is lacking. And that's why I like what he's talking about. I want a Steam or something like that for content.
And that's why I've been trying to find good stuff, old and new, and sift through the weeds and try to give things a fair breakdown. Like another good example would be Tar. I know Mr. Grant Gregg and I were talking about Tar and how like it can be a great performance and a great scene, but it can be a heavy drama. So it may not be the kind of thing where it gets like the mass audience, but I think when you can just fairly talk about it, its pros and cons, and let people make their own decision. And instead what we get is all of this, you must like it, you must love it, or you're an istpho, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, everyone's done with that. Even the normies now are starting to catch on to that too, because they'll watch something and don't like it, and they see themselves being called names too, even though they're not real big fans of something. So then I think this is where I think us, the creators, have a good opportunity here, is just to be as honest and genuine you can about what you like and don't like. Don't sugarcoat things, but also, don't let it consume you. Don't get caught up being like a hate only situation, because if people want to see what you have to say, give them a positive as well.
Right.
Well, and on the lines of Tara, I think Tara is a perfectly fine movie for a single dose film, and I think they need a lot more of those films that it's just like, yeah, it's a film I'm going to watch once. I'm not going to watch again. It's not because I didn't like it. It's just it's like a single session only. Sure. No, it's not like something like a Back to the Future that has this fun sort of bounciness to it that you can go back and watch it over and over again. This is a film that tells a story. It has a fantastic performance, 1 or 2 phenomenally great scenes, but it's a very close, small thing, and it tells that small story that you don't need to really hear again. Not for the fact that it's not interesting, but it's concluded. It had a satisfactory, start, finish, and end.
I think that's where we're at with a lot of movies, and they're just not getting any oxygen to let people know, look, it's 2 hours. It's a good film. It may not be the escapism you would want, like a Back to the Future or something like that, but it can be a fun experience. It can be a good experience. I actually kind of felt similar with like Fabelmans and even Banshees of Inisherin. I kind of felt that way, where I don't know that I'd watch it again. It's a little better than both of the others as far as like the entertainment part, because it's a lot
I like
dark,
to think of that
funny.
as a weird sequel to like In Bruges or something.
Exactly, it definitely felt like a sequel to but yeah, it's that kind of feel. Go ahead.
Yeah, it seems like we're accepting so much less from entertainments now because we're getting such bad entertainment that we're watching movies or shows. It's like you were saying, and just think, I don't know if I watch it again. The entertainment value only lasts for so long, and then it's gone.
There's so much to consume. There's so much you can watch. It's incredible how much there is.
okay, and I'm going to like put your worries at bay. Right, here we go. It's going to be less. we hit peak TV. There ain't no more. They're all going to make less now, and they can't afford it anymore. Not only can they not afford it anymore, nobody's consuming it. It doesn't make sense to make programs nobody's watching.
Yeah,
that's why on the Netflix side of the equation, when you see all this, gosh, what do you want to call it? Diverse content? That's not right. The myopic. But the myopic group content. Let's just
the DI or the DEI.
Yeah, that stuff's getting canceled at Netflix left and right. It might get one season, but then it's done because there's nobody watching. They can't afford that. They need shows to hit because Stranger Things is done. Stranger Things is going to be done, and then they need something to replace it. Cobra Kai is going to be done. They need that show. They need the next show.
Hey, Culture, if only there was someone who did a video on this, would you happen to know of anyone?
I don't know. Maybe I did something on this before, Mr. Grant Gregory. I don't know.
Oh, that's amazing. I can't believe I'm just finding out about it now.
Mr. Tickle Trunk said, good news, Reacher Season 2 is being filmed on Amazon.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, there is good content out there. It's just,
it's limited.
And Netflix has some good content. It's just, it's like Wednesday, I thought was a great, fun show. I love All Quiet on the Western Front, which may actually be the best international film to challenge RRR. It's just, there are good things out there. Like I said, it's just hard right now because there's so much garbage being thrown against the wall. Some of these things just can't get enough oxygen to, I think, really become the blockbuster that they should.
And I don't think Netflix should try and go that route. I think that one of their biggest strengths is I saw so many great like low budget documentaries on Netflix when it first came out. Like I think I binged probably 1,000 different documentaries. They don't produce any documentaries now that aren't leaning one political way or the next. There's no things just about a story or a thing that happens.
I think they're all like that. Same thing with HBO Max. HBO Max has a library of documentaries, but all the recent stuff is just political crap. Yes, political.
Yeah,
garbage.
and that's the problem, right? Is that everybody went political, and I have to tell you, Mr. Grant Gregory, you missed a wonderful documentary. A docudrama in Harry and Meghan, right? Didn't you?
Yeah, I unfortunately didn't get a chance to see that. But well, I guess I'm just gonna have to put my face on an iron or something equally as entertaining.
Ultra, are you okay to go forward?
Yeah, of course. Let's do it.
Okay, let's do this. All right, for this next segment, Coach Casino is going to take the lead. Please, I'm going to share this.
All right, so this article could have come from anywhere because there have been a lot of different locations for this. Forbes and many others, Bloomberg in particular, covered this right from the very beginning. And banks are fighting to dismiss complaints filed by Epstein accusers. Well, what's this about? I did a video on it. JP Morgan Chase and Deutsche Bank are accused of doing some very bad things. Not only that, there was an extensive filing done by the Attorney General of the U.S. Virgin Islands, and they are desperately trying to not have a class action lawsuit from all of the victims of Epstein because, well, these two banks are supposedly, allegedly, have been involved in the financial enablement of this particular process to go to actually move forward. And there is apparently significant evidence pointing to the fact that not only were they well aware, they turned a blind eye to it and enabled the ability of Epstein to do this to people. Now, there's another wrinkle here, and I'll read this story, but there's another wrinkle I'm going to add to it. So they're fighting to dismiss lawsuits by Jeffrey Epstein's victims, accusing the banks of enabling the disgraced financier's trafficking network. I'm going to be careful about how I say things here. On December 30th, motions to dismiss the class action suits, which were initially filed in November, Deutsche Bank's counsel said the claims did not adequately. Not that they didn't allege or they didn't draw like direct lines to things, but they didn't adequately allege that the bank was enabling this abuse ring when it provided banking services to Epstein between 2013 and 2018. This is despite the fact that there is substantial evidence and, of course, a guilty plea by him in 2006 in Florida to much reduced pleadings of solicitation and a couple other things, which essentially he served no real consequence for. All of the plaintiff's claims are deficient and none can be maintained, according to the Deutsche Bank attorneys. JP Morgan, who's the other defendant here, was also attacked, in the Southern District of New York, claiming the financial institutions knowingly and intentionally benefited from assisting, supporting, and facilitating Epstein's sex trafficking crimes. I just said it. I'm sorry, YouTube. I apologize. The suits are seeking unspecified damages for violations of trafficking and racketeering, and recently enacted New York Adult Survivors Act, which is substantial. Epstein was charged with trafficking in 2019, but was, I'm going to put it the way they do, found dead in his prison cell. Notice how they don't assume what happened there. While awaiting trial, his former close associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, was convicted of similar charges in December. During her trial, a JP Morgan official testified that Epstein wired Maxwell $31 million, which was characterized by prosecutors as payment for procuring young ladies. Let's just put it that way. So yeah, this is really hard to disassociate yourself from. This is why these motions to dismiss are going to be, denied. But anyway, J.P. Morgan's motion to dismiss the lawsuit was similar in tone to Deutsche Bank's request, asking the court to dismiss all claims. That ain't going to happen. Both banks argue that they ended their relationship with Epstein after the Miami Herald published allegations in 2018, but again, not in 2006. So it's very strange. And let's see, lawyers of JP Morgan said the survivor who sued the institution should be entitled to justice, but the claims are directed against the wrong party and are thus legally meritless. Well, that's what they hope, but that's not what is going to be done. Mind you, this particular filing was over 120 pages long. It is heavily redacted if you manage to get your hands on it. And they do that, to supposedly protect some of the people who are alleged to have done some of these things. But anyway, an attorney for the women, David Boyes, said he was disappointed by the bank's efforts to avoid taking responsibility for their role in the expansion and perpetuation of Epstein's trafficking ring. JP Morgan plaintiff Joan Doe 1 is a former ballet dancer who said Epstein abused and trafficked her from 2006. Mind you, this was when he had been pled guilty in Florida to solicitation. It's a reduced charge to 2013, while he was still a client of the financial institution. Deutsche Bank plaintiff said she suffered similar abuses between 2003 and 2018. So in July 2020, New York financial regulators fined Deutsche Bank, here we go, $150 million. They fined them $150 million over its relationship with Epstein.
Wow.
Okay. Meanwhile, the U.S. Virgin Islands, where Epstein owned a private island and mansion, sued J.P. Morgan last week, alleging the bank aided in concealment of Epstein's crimes. Now, we're done with this article, but let me tell you, we're not done at all, because the Attorney General and I'm going to grab this one, courtesy of Tyler Durden, who, believe it or not, still exists, over there at Zero Hedge. Now, mind you, this is another article you can find in many different places, including Law and Crime, if you elect to. Virgin Islands AG fired 3 days after suing JP Morgan over Jeffrey Epstein. That's right. The governor is so corrupt in the U.S. Virgin Islands that he fired the Attorney General for the U.S. Virgin Islands because she filed suit against Deutsche Bank and JP Morgan, but specifically JP Morgan. And essentially, it's a problem, right? So Attorney General Denise George filed a lawsuit against JP Morgan for allegedly reaping financial benefits from Jeffrey Epstein's trafficking operation, less than a month after George secured a $105 million settlement with Epstein's estate, which agreed to liquidate Epstein's island and cease all business operations in the region. Now, ask yourself this question: who's maintaining business operations for Epstein right now?
I mean, it wouldn't be Maxwell, right?
Who is doing that? I'll keep going because that's not in this story.
Why are you yelling at us?
I'm not. I'm sorry. 3 days later, George is now unemployed after Governor Albert A. Bryan Jr. Get that name in your head, folks. Maybe send him a letter. Note. Hey, this looks a little corrupt, dude. Anyway, fired her for allegedly filing suit against J.P. Morgan without his permission. I guess you go to the governor for permission to file lawsuits if you're the attorney general of a particular area, state, whatnot.
Okay.
No, that doesn't seem
seem right to me. No.
No.
That only happens in Illinois, but we have our own political problems here.
Well, yeah. Believe me, I know. According to the complaint, for over more than a decade, J.P. Morgan clearly knew it was not complying with federal. Here it is, guys. Not complying with federal regulations in regard to Epstein-related accounts, as evidenced by its too little, too late efforts after Epstein was arrested for federal trafficking charges and shortly before his demise. Notice how nobody's saying how that happened. By the way. When J.P. Morgan belatedly complied with federal law. Well, you can't do that. You have to do that in actual time. So it goes much deeper than just J.P. Morgan lawsuit, because the suit against J.P. Morgan Chase is not the whole scope of George's pursuit of the remnants of Epstein's network of conspirators. That's the problem. Mm-hmm. This is why this governor made some really iffy choices here to eliminate the burr in the side of the conspirators. Although Little St. James, that's his island. I can't say that. Yeah, and is adjacent island owned by the Epstein estate, went up for sale in March of 2022. Why did it take so long to anyway? Okay. Action taken by George kept the premise of any sale from going through. Acting in her former capacity as U.S. Virgin Island Attorney General, she placed criminal activity liens on the island from a civil racketeering lawsuit. Holy cow. The lawsuit was filed in 2020 following the death in August 2019.
It's in quotes. That's the best.
I know. That's what I can say, right?
Death is in quotes. It's great.
Yeah. So the suit alleged that Little St. James Island was sued as part of a network of shell companies that Epstein manipulated to conceal the activities of his trafficking network. Hey, look who's hanging out there.
I'm like, look at this picture.
Get out.
This is a lot right there, boy. Ooh wee.
Yeah. A dude is rocking some serious military hardware, right? Anyway.
Now, can we deduce, maybe that's the right word, that the conspirators are, and I guess basically people with more money than what's good for them, accept this type of minor abuse behavior when you've got weed dispensaries and FFLs that are getting their payment processing functions canceled? But
I'd say there's a large disparity in the way the law is being applied.
Yes. And it seems like there's an awful lot of shifty behavior in those applications in order to give time to possibly eliminate any incriminating things that may exist.
Yeah, well, and what's funny is the statement that went along with the settlement that was reached with the U.S. Virgin Islands and the bank. This is the quote. This settlement restores the faith of the people of the Virgin Islands that its laws will be enforced without fear or favor.
What?
Against those who break them. Hello. We are sending a clear message that the Virgin Islands is not a haven for human trafficking. This is Attorney General George stated upon the announcement that the settlement had taken place. And mind you, this is a separate settlement entirely. This is $105 million in addition to $100 million that happened over, in New York, right? So she made this statement and then promptly gets fired for trying to enforce the law.
Yeah.
Related to this behavior. So anyway, we can go on and on here, but I think we've touched enough of this surface. We can have a decent conversation here. Tina already introduced a wonderful question. Are there some people in this situation, and especially here, that are possibly above the law?
I think that's for me, in my opinion, that's a foregone conclusion with the way that the entire case thus far has been handled, especially the sealed documents. I mean, things that would really shed light on some of the accusations that have been made, and victims, potential victims, or people who claim to be victims who may have needed some resolution or
restitution.
Restitution, for what they've been through. I think that this is a case where there is possibly so many high-profile names involved in it that the system itself protected itself in one of the most grossly destructive, inhuman activities that can possibly take place, in my opinion. I'm trying to word it right
more. I couldn't agree more. I think that.
Wait, what are you trying to say?
Everyone's hands are dirty and bloody. I know Darth Scipio there is like, show the pictures of Orange Man or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, well, the problem is everyone. It's like too many big power plays. And the fact that this governor would just fire the AG 3 days after this just shows. There's a photo of that individual too, by the way. There's gotta be dirt. I mean, this is insane. This is just I don't know.
How do you be around and involved in something like that, especially in the scope even the evidence, the things that we already know, even in that scope? How do you not know, if you're around someone like that, what is going on?
Well, I wonder if things would have been different if Trump would have won re-election, with how he supposedly, kicked Epstein and all his associates out of Mar-a-Lago as soon as he, found out what was going on behind doors.
The most trafficking arrests in his final year, wasn't it? Yeah,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, as far as that statement goes, I think that he was going after that for a reason. I mean, not only because it's just and right to protect our kids, but to expose anyone who might have been engaged in those activities.
I'm going to present this article one more time, because I think it's relevant here, and it shows just how shady the banks are in this transaction.
Please,
this is something that was left largely uncovered by a whole lot of sources, I believe, including Law and Crime. Mm-hmm. And that's this. By the time Epstein died, his Virgin Islands-based bank had less than $700,000 in assets. However, in December of 2019, months after his demise, let's say that, Epstein's estate transferred a whopping $15.5 million into Southern Country International. In under a month, the bank's assets diminished to less than $500,000.
Gosh, should have invested in that FTX, I bet.
It depreciated after that.
Well, no. Mark Epstein, Jeffrey's brother and executor of the estate, stated that the bank was used to pay existing debts of assets he had control over. Though the bank was not explicitly referenced in the press release on the December statement, the announcement does detail the Virgin Islands action against Southern Trust Company, a holding company, which points to a larger scale of Epstein-owned enterprises connected to Southern Country International. Holy crapola. It is unclear how allegations made in Georgia's lawsuit against J.P. Morgan connect to the posthumous activity conducted by Epstein's Virgin Island banking operation. I know what exactly they say, but they're redacted. Oh, man. Anyway, thought that would be fun.
That's a hoot.
Anyone else overwhelmed? I feel like I just need to wait for the Stacey Keach version of this and have him break it all down for me, because this is just I just feel so overwhelmed by the heinousness of it all. It's just so bad.
But see, that's the thing with all of this stuff right now. You can do 2 hours on 4 or 5 of the Twitter drops, right? The stuff that's
those letters are insane.
This thing is a freaking mini series, because there is so much dirt on so many people. It's insane. You dive down this rabbit hole, man, you're lost for 2 years.
I mean, but even in the information age, with the things being as accessible as they are, do you think we'll ever know everything that happened? Do you think that those victims will ever find justice?
Well, you can't really undo that level of crime to an individual, right?
No.
But I mean, I think there's just going to be a ton of things that will just come out for years and years and years and years. I mean, as someone who used to write regularly about, like, we first found out about like the NSA data center, and we got Hillary's emails and things like that. It's like there are just thousands of things to go through, and there's just so many people that are implicated. It just gets so dirty and gross so fast. And you just sort of get very exasperated very quickly. I know I did. I was just really, really overwhelming.
Well, Pops. There are four journalists right now on the Twitter stuff, and that's still not enough. You need 10 of these people pumping out this stuff, because you can do it every day. You can do it every hour. That's how ridiculous everything that happened over the course of like 6 years was.
Oh yeah, no, I understand. No, like I said, I had Hillary's emails were sent to us, and you could do like, control searches in these documents, because you try to upload them to a digital version, and you would have so many hits and responses. You were like, crap, that doesn't really help me. Like there's so much information. It was just insane. And everything was so dirty with everything else. And I mean, some stuff that felt very innocuous at the time. Like it would be like emails about a barbecue, but then you would look at the email list, there are all these journalists and stuff. So you're like, holy crap. So all the politicians and all the journalists are like this Venn diagram. Yeah. So when we apply it to this, you have these politicians and these financial people and whatever. These Venn diagrams just become like this. You're like, holy crap, it's almost it's hundreds, if not thousands and thousands of major players.
And here's the thing, and this is what and I agree with Darcipio. It's politically agnostic. Everybody's in it. It's not Democrats, it's not Republicans, it's not Libertarian, it's everybody. It doesn't matter. It crosses over all of these streams. And it's disgusting, right? Just how much there is out there. And it's sad, and it's frustrating. And what's worse is it's being confirmed in front of our faces every single day. Yeah. Just how corrupt these different systems and institutions are. And yet, here we are. And, now we're on the 6th vote for nobody wants McCarthy.
I'll go run the house. I'll fire everybody. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. That'd be me. I'd be the anarchist.
No, put you there. Put Joe Blow, American dude, in that thing, or chick. I don't care. Put somebody from Middle America that is not politically affiliated. Put them there. It would be a hoot and a half, because all you need
we get a Dems.
No, you just
I was asked to run for office. I said I'll run for House, and I'll be there for 2 years, and no one will vote for me the second time, because I will tick off every single person that's there. I will tell everyone on the internet what everything is, how everything works. It'll be like vote no on everything, burn it down. Yeah,
but you just put a parliamentarian behind that person, right? And talk into their ear so they don't screw up like procedurally. Right. But it wouldn't be that hard, right? And it's just like, it's like, okay, none of this makes sense. So if you're gonna make a budget bill, 30 pages, not 2,400. And not only that, let's try and make it something that we could all read. That'd be good. Yeah. We're gonna read this before we vote on it. How's that?
Yeah, you can't even humanly read them before the vote happens. It's insane. And this dates back to Obamacare, by the way. Like, I remember literally being in the weeds of that coverage and stuff and reading this stuff, and it was like they kept adding hundreds of pages per day. And it was like, we didn't get through analysis of the last set. What is happening there? And it was just insane. So yeah.
Well, Pelosi herself, didn't she say, let's pass this thing so we can find out what's in it?
That's correct. Very much. Christmas Eve, baby. Christmas votes. Yeah. It would be rough. It'd be rough. So no, it is a very devastating blemish on our history as humans, not just Americans. It's just, obviously, it's an international trafficking thing. You have implications that deal with the British royal family and people all over the world. And now the banks are being implicated, so who knows who's going to take the fall in some of these different lawsuits. You can't have millions of dollars going out the door and not having people getting fired and stuff. So,
well, money leads to power, and the power is going to protect itself. Yeah, that's what's going to come down to.
It's crazy.
It really is.
Yeah, I argue that I argue that, the release of Epstein's Black Book, or the lack of it being released, is equivalent to like JFK for the baby boomers and the assassination and the cover up there, where that was the event that defined their generation.
That's an interesting theory. That's an interesting theory. I like that.
I think it's worse because this is an international thing that's affecting thousands and thousands of people directly. I think it's worse.
But I think she just means it more of like the government cover-up conspiracy theory, Oliver Stone fodder kind of stuff.
Oh, okay,
right?
so you mean, so in other words, it was like the government that killed that. It was Epstein didn't kill himself, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's just
Exactly.
this web of darkness, this shadow. It's just hanging out there. Yeah, I agree. That's interesting theory. I like it a lot. That's good. It's good. It's good.
Well, so I want to end everything on a little bit more of a lighter note. Real quick, I would like to announce to everybody in the fandom that don't know that the Joker was pregnant and had a kid.
Oh God, you're hurting me. What? This isn't positive.
This is where
bad.
DC.
Well, there is a lot of context behind this. It's not actually. It's in a comic. It's in a thing at the back of a comic. And it wasn't that he was pregnant. There was a mud creature that was in his stomach, and then he vomits it up later. That turns out to look exactly like him. So I think, to me, the way in which it was drawn and everything, I think it's Clayface.
For some reason, I hear my voice coming out of Mr. Grant Gregory in the defense of the cartoon here.
And also, you should go watch Moon Knight. My God, it's the best thing ever. He flies now.
Yeah,
Tina, what have you done to me? Put the voodoo doll down.
Yeah, Joker was pregnant, y'all. Have
If
fun
you want to
with
get
that.
a good breakdown of it, watch Angle Teen Loves Comics. He breaks it down all the way through, and if there's anyone that knows something about comics, it's him and Clobby. So
Good.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I was just like, what the hell is this? And I
need to laugh.
It's only a 3 or 4 page thing at the back of another book.
Well, good.
This is very strange.
Series run here,
Have you got the shot of him in the stirrups? So that was kind of weird.
Oh God, maybe that's a fetish thing. I don't know.
I don't know what he was looking at.
It's kind of weird because there's nothing to look at down there if you're a dude.
That's what.
There's not an escape hatch.
I don't know where it's going to come out from.
Well, is it a butt baby? I mean, that's what I
It's
figured.
literally a pile of blood.
You know what? That was
or clay.
Just asking, Coach. I'm just asking. I don't know if it was an ass baby. I'm trying to figure it out. It's clay.
No, the father is Zatanna.
Did it come out the urethra? What?
That's not how that works. By the way,
he said it was clay. I don't know. It sounds like it's something gooey. It could just fly right out.
No.
No. Pops, you want to see Pregnant Joker on screen? Joker 3, the pregnancy.
I couldn't. I had to make sure I looked up the right book to make sure I understand what it is. It's called Joker, the Man Who Stopped Laughing. It's like issue number 4, and I was looking to see if I have access to it yet or not. I don't know. This is a weird thing about comic books right now, and I really felt pretty good about a couple things, but it always seems like they always find a way to ruin it. You get a sense that this creator doesn't want to lose their job, or they want to do something, and then you have this stuff too. It's like it's just a really strange industry right now. Marvel's in really, really bad straits, but with DC again, I can't wait for Zaslav to put them under the microscope. I really, really can't. I just can't wait. So
thank you, Monkey Jeebus. I'm glad it's just magic.
Well, the whole book is not really like mainstream canon if it's just like one of these Joker spinoff type books. But reality is, and this is kind of a weird thing for me, not being kind of an OG reader, like even like the mainstream Batman now has like a backup story. Like, why are we doing that? Like, it's so strange to me.
Stupid.
I can't stand that. And then it'll be like art that doesn't go with it, like some radically different looking things. And then we'll do things where it's like 4 or 5 issues, and then they just stop. They'll do these random stories, and then they get right back to it like nothing happened. I'm like, I would have been so betrayed if I was buying these things in real time with cash. I'd be like, wait a minute.
It was bad enough when you had bloody Tom Taylor constantly using Batman as Tom King using it as his therapy session, writing all of his problems on the page.
Oh,
Everyone
Tom King.
spoke.
Yeah.
everyone spoke the exact same way. It didn't matter who it was; they all spoke in the exact same vernacular. There was nothing. It was Zaslav just needs to kick everyone out. DC go on hiatus for a few years until they find some talented people again.
Well, and it's just, even when you find good things, they never last. Like I had a couple people recommend it. I've been reading the Batman. It started at 125, and I just finished 130 into the issue. It's terrible. 125 to 129 was fine. The art is next level, and guess what? The artist is not under contract to stay. So the artist is going to go off and do something else because the art is like 90s great. Like it's fantastic. Jorge Jimenez art was fantastic. The story was fine for 4 or 5 issues. And then suddenly you're like, what the heck were you thinking? This is terrible. And so everything is kind of like that sometimes. So I've been trying to find people recommending some different good things and try to read it for myself.
If you want a new comic to come out, that's Indy. Moist Critical's one that he did called Godslap. It's only just come out. He's a YouTuber. Okay. It's got a lot of things. It's really good.
Yeah. I have a long list of stuff that's been recommended my way, and a lot of catching up to do in that regard. But
or if you want something from our sphere, you can check out Eric July's Isom. One's still available now, which you can see in about an hour's time on the midweek hump, which I will be on because I'm now a part of that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you managed to weasel your way onto that panel permanently too.
I'm trying, and I did. It's when you see someone that's going an upward trajectory, especially if they've got long hair, you've got to jump on their back and hold on and hope that it's not a wig and falls off. So.
Yes.
I guess I'm doomed. I guess I'm doomed at this point. I don't have the long hair.
No, Grant just needs to find another, couple hours a day he can like glom onto your coattails, so it'll be good.
All right, so it's coming about on the 2-hour mark. We're going to close out this show. Thank you guys so much for being here. Before I do, I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat, man. I appreciate you. Time Prophet, Mr. Tickle Trunk, Monkey D, Ms. Darth Scorpio. Thank you for being here. Let's see who else was in the chat. Fat Elvis, E Clay, 16-bit. Man, hell, you guys. Thank you, guys. Ruben Christopher Haynes, my brother. Good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. We really appreciate each and every single one of you. You guys in the chats, you make it. You're the reason why we do what we do. We appreciate you every week seeing you. It's almost like a friendship. It's a friendship. It's a bond. It's seeing you guys supporting us and helping us to it gives us the inspiration we need to keep going. When we have doubts to create our content, it is because you guys show up every week, and we greatly appreciate you. Thank you so very much. AJ Speaks, Soul Assassin, for throwing out links. Thank you so very much. Just thank you guys, man. We really appreciate you. Thank you for supporting Sporking News Podcast. If you're first time here, please hit that subscribe button. And let me continue on with the outros. First off, our wonderful guest here tonight, Pops. Please let these people know your content, what you do, and where they can find you.
YouTube at Pops. Let's see, Tuesday night, 5:30 Eastern time. We do Talk Hard, Stone Loki and Ironcaster. We do breakdowns of some different things, wonderful conversations. Then Thursdays at 10:15 Eastern time, I drop a Throwback Thursday video. My first one will be tomorrow. And then Saturday morning cartoons with Pops. So I've been doing a revisit of the Batman animated series and the X-Men animated series. Those drop Saturday mornings. And then on Sunday morning, I drop What's Your Story, which is sort of like, different people's kind of words of wisdom and life lessons and experiences. And this week we talk about drama with Saggy Melons. So that drops on Sunday morning. And then in between there, you got tons of reviews and breakdowns. I've been doing Tulsa King, which I'm enjoying very, very much. Lots of movies, good, bad, and otherwise. So, like I said, you find something that you like, good. If you don't, thanks for visiting, and appreciate the feedback, comments, and all that stuff. It's always the best part of this, to be honest, interacting with you guys. So thanks for everything. And thanks for being here, guys. Sporking News has always been special to me. It was one of the channels that I kind of got into when I kind of got really into just doing Pops and not all the other stuff I've been doing from my past. And Scott had been calling out my channel and stuff like that before I even did a live stream. So he's always been very special to me. I'm glad we're able to work this out.
And thank you very much, Pops. I'm sure we're welcome to have you back. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Miles, you throw a link out to his channel for me. And thank you so much for being here, man. Subscribe to Pops. Have a great night, sir.
Thank you, my friend.
No problem. Next up is Mr. Grant Gregory, the schmoozer.
The schmoozer. That works. Yeah, you can catch me in a few hours on the midweek hump. We have Eric July on, so it should be good. And then you'll see me on someone's stream pretty much every single day of the week. That's the plan. Just keep doing that, and eventually I'll get around to doing something on my channel, which for no reason apart from the fact that the YouTube algorithm is weird. I'm seeing my biggest growth that I've had in months, and I haven't put out a video for nearly a month. So that just goes to show to you the YouTube algorithm is fucking weird.
I need that algorithm, Grant. I'm jealous. Thank you, brother. Thank you for being here very much. Appreciate you. Next up is the hair himself, the Real Deal Culture Casino.
It's more like a logarithm. It's not really an algorithm, but
is it?
Yeah, it feels like a log anyway. Anyway, I have to say thank you for making sure I was here, Stephen. Because otherwise I'd have forgot. But I missed being on Sporks on Wednesday, and I was looking forward to seeing Matt, but there's no Matt. But you did a great job, Stephen. Well done. And do subscribe to Pops. Pops is awesome. I love Pops. I can't wait to see him again. Tina's great. Grant is the best editor and friend on the planet. So thank you, Grant. And Stephen, you're short.
Appreciate that. You're about the same height as me, though, Culture. That's not fair.
I'm taller than you. I was looking over
when
the
we
top.
Hugged, I felt like I had the alpha position, the man that taller position. I felt like
you were standing on an 18-inch tall stair. Probably wrong. And still I was looking over the top of your head. But anyway, what was I saying? Thanks for being here, guys. We appreciate it. In fact, I would like you to travel now. I know you're all going to go hang out on midweek hump later, but I would like you to travel now to Floral from Under a Rock's channel and jump in there and raid that. As soon as we're done here, just run over there and support the tail end of that show because it's great. And that 70s Rock fan is the guest over there. And of course, check me out tomorrow on the 6 Minute Daily and the video that Grant's going to edit probably at some point tonight or this. Well, it's day over there. I always get screwed up. It's like you're like Thursday already, right, Grant? I always get messed up. So, but anyway, and everybody in the chat, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Lots of friends out there. People I haven't seen in a bit, like Darcipio and all that. Thank you guys for being here. Mr. Tickle Trunk, Fat Elvis, all you guys. You guys are awesome. Time Prophet, Monkey Jeebus. Look at all these great humans. Yeah. Anyway, I'm done. Let me out of here.
Appreciate you. Thank you very much for being here, Culture. Next up is the wonderful, the beautiful Bad Take Tina Bojan.
Hello again. Thanks for today's invitation. It was an amazing time hanging out with you folks. Absolutely loved it. It was great to meet you, Mr. Pops. As far as where to find me,
likewise.
The whole rest of the week, I spend Monday nights with right here on the Sporking News podcast for Aluminum Spork. We're halfway through covering Ancient Apocalypse series on Netflix from Graham Hancock. And then if you love art and all things entertainment, check us out on Vinny Art's channel on Friday nights for the Friday Underground and Sunday nights for the Sunday Roundtable. Otherwise, look for me out in the chats and on Twitter at Tina Bojan.
Thank you very much, Tina, for being here. We appreciate you. Thank you to everybody out there watching, whether you're watching this later. If you're first time visiting, please subscribe to this channel. Whatever platform you are on, we appreciate your viewership. Thank you very much. Remember to support your independent creators out there, whether they're making books or YouTube channels. Please support them. This is very difficult for people who speak up against an industry who is serving us garbage entertainment, against news outlets who are trying to propagandize everything and make bad images out of everyone who does not co-sign to their group think, like all you wonderful people in this chat, all the people watching this later, and the wonderful people on this panel. So please support everyone on this panel. Support each other. If you know that you have a project, another person has a project out there, share a link out for it, whether it's an indie comic, an indie book, or a YouTube channel content creator, whatever channel that they are watching or that they are putting content out there for. You are the reason that we are able to do what we do. You are the inspiration. You people, you are the reason why we keep going and why we are able to do what we do. Thank you all so very much. Please share out links for your independent creators, because we don't have an industry to support us. We only have each other, and we rise together. Please remember to check out all of these wonderful channels. Check out all the shows that are coming up on Sporking News Podcast. Check out The Dump this Saturday and Aluminum Spork. And, all the wonderful content, the great people, the intellectual, funny, wonderful people that are supporting at Sporking's Lunch Table. We really appreciate you. I am author Stephen Walton, the Fandom Menace historian, your historian born in the chats of the High Council with my brothers and sisters fighting for our modern mythologies. Wash your hands, wash your ass. Be good to each other, yet suffer no fools. Peace.